I've thought of so many ways to start this off.
One intro after another, baby.
One intro after another. You want to hear my first intro? You ready?
Yeah.
Who's the couple of the year? Harry Styles and Zoe Kravitz, or Wood Harris and Alana Hine?
Honestly, them. Definitely them.
How old is Wood Harris? Elevator Pitch is back pitching movies. Finally! Again, after a long hiatus.
Yeah.
The only podcast that pitches fake movies to Paul Thomas Anderson in the future. As I'm announcing right now, as I think you assumed.
Yeah, it's good.
One battle after another. It's the talk of the town.
Yeah.
And by the town, I mean this town, and we're going to maybe ask about anywhere else.
Yeah.
But
Your coasts.
Your coasts?
Yeah.
Damn, though. I can't wait to talk about this movie with you, Will. And pitch fake movies to someone who is not only special in our lives, but many people who love movies' lives, and is endlessly fascinating to talk about, and is the subject of movies that are, you know, not exactly all just one thing, which can mean you could talk about them forever.
Yeah. He is a very dissectable filmmaker.
Yeah.
His movies...
He's like a frozen cat in biology class, you know. You can kind of really get in there.
You can really open them up. And you can find all sorts of things inside them.
Yeah.
You never know what you'll find inside that carcass.
Yeah.
And I think...
I don't like that analogy.
No, I loved it. I think when you're talking about somebody like Mr. PTA,
Yeah.
it's a hard conversation to have because it feels so... He's such a titan, in a way.
Well, it's also like, what's more insufferable than two, 26-year-old former film student white dudes sitting in a podcast studio talking about their favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movies?
There aren't many things worse than that.
But please stay tuned.
Because we're about to have
We're about to do that.
about it.
Yeah. We're about to do that exact thing. Before we just knock into PTA, someone who I got a little more familiar with this week.
Yeah.
One battle after another.
Yeah.
Will, I'm not gonna ask you if you like the movie or not.
Don't do it.
Unless you want me to.
Sure.
My question for you, Will, is what is one thing you have not heard discussed about One Battle After Another? In the reviews, in the pods, in the TikToks that Leo DiCaprio seemingly his job is just to run away from the camera in all of them, which is pretty interesting.
He's a gun to his back.
They're like, Leo's doing TikToks. I'm pretty sure he walks out of frame in every single one of these.
Yeah, he's really just
which is kind of like his vibe.
He's just a body. Yeah. One thing I want to start with is because, saying that PTA is this big figure in film, and he's one of the more fascinating, kind of auteurs of our time. One of the few, proud, one of the Marines. I think what's interesting about a movie like One Battle After Another, that obviously we've heard a lot of talk about in the sense that like it's a further evolution for him. It's another added layer. Yeah. Where it's like, oh, we haven't really seen him in this zone before. We've never seen him work with this amount of money, with this scale. It is a new chapter for him. But I think the thing to me that I took away from is that this movie is almost his most straightforward movie.
I was thinking that too.
In a way, like since Hard Eight. Like maybe since Boogie Nights.
I think since Magnolia, in the sense that it's like not... even Boogie Nights is this opposite thing where it's like Boogie Nights, The Master... Punch Drunk Love, they're all movies that are like set in these weird industries or, pseudo religions or, There Will Be Blood is like this, emerging industry, right? Yeah. That even Phantom Thread with it being about like a seamstress or a dressmaker, they're all kind of set in these worlds where you're wondering, what does this have to do with like anything? But this is fascinating. It's entertaining. But and then like 30 minutes in, you're like, oh, this is about corruption, or oh, this is about marriage, or oh, this is about found family. And you're like, wow, how the fuck did he think about? This is something I want to talk to you about when we're pitching. But like, how the fuck did he think about this specific thing, like the emergence of the video camera in porn? being the perfect vehicle for a movie about found family. Like,
Yeah.
who the fuck thinks about, this movie, you're right, though, is instead of those things, obviously it's like a Western and it's, there's a resistance kind of move, all this kind of stuff, but it is straightforward in the way where you're just like, yeah, it's a guy and he is living in this town and his daughter there's less architecture around the world that it's set in, I think. Is that a hot take? Is that
No, I don't think so. I think there's.
Is that what you were getting at?
Yeah, I think that it's pretty like. It's not to say that the movie is simple. It's by no means simple. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But you do kind of get it, and sometimes I think his movies, for me, because I generally really like his movies, and some I like more than others. Some I connected to a little bit more than others. Like some where it's just like I can admire it, I can appreciate it. That's kind of how I felt when I walked out of seeing Phantom Thread in the theater with my Movie Pass credit card. I came out and I was like, that was really interesting, very impressive. I'm not totally sure that one really hit me in my core.
That hit me in my core more than probably a lot of them.
Wow.
Because you're
a dressmaker.
I'm a dressmaker. Yeah.
At heart.
Please poison me.
Somebody, please. But it's these movies, they inevitably leave you with so much to chew on, and like you're getting fed all sorts of this visual overflow, and it's just the stories are so rich in so many ways. There's so many layers to his stories. He's honestly he's very novelistic in the way that he writes. I think like it's like you can't really take a save the cat approach to his screenplays. Like they're pretty free flowing, and they really play by the beat of their own drum.
Now I'm like racking my brain for a save the cat moment, and
it's hard to find with most of them. I think the one that you could get the closest to is, besides like Hard Eight, which is his most like conventional film because he's coming out right out of the gate, would be this one, where I kind of felt like when I left One Battle After Another, I kind of felt like I'd gotten it. Like I wasn't really chewing on much afterwards.
His other moves are like, I abandoned my cat.
Yeah. Whoa. And I think his when I walk out of a lot of his movies, I'm like, I'm unsure what I even feel about them, because it's like I'm still trying to process what they were.
Yeah, they're hard to get your head around, obviously.
Totally. Yeah. And with this one, it kind of felt like I was like, I liked it. I kind of came out and I just liked it, but I'm not quite to the heights that some people are.
So because
it's quite acclaimed.
You just backed into a review. I think
I know. I don't. Obviously, I couldn't make what Paul's making here, but I do. I'm interested to hear what you think of it and what you took away from it.
I half agree with you. Mm-hmm. It is, I think, more straightforward as like a one-time watching and understanding movie, more than like Mark Maron interviewed him a few years ago.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I come out of one of your movies, like the Master of Phantom Thread. I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? God damn it, I got to go back and watch this again. Like, God damn it, you motherfucker.
That's why he was the best in the game.
Lock the fucking gates.
Yeah.
But I agree with that. I will say though that like its ideas I think are as grand, or not even grand, but as like as human and as relatable as any of his other movies are, whether, like I said, it's about marriage or it's about found family or it's, or like even The Master, which is like a really kind of hard one to pin down in a lot of ways, has this kind of commonality about like what it's kind of getting at in terms of, commitment and, this kind of like idea of like the religion of work in a lot of ways and stuff like that. But the One Battle After Another, I think like has that with its, questions and understandings of like, how does evil arise? Like, how do what do we learn from our parents? And like, as much as we try to right their wrongs and change who they are and be so different from them, like, do we have an ability to like learn just enough from them to affect change, even though we want to change everything, And it's like that kind of balance. And, like I wrote down that like MLK quote where it was like the arc of the universe, or the arc of the moral universe is is long, but it bends towards justice. And it's like, but justice isn't linear, you know. It's progress is violent, and progress is all over the place, you know. And like that kind of idea that like it's a kind of this baton passing, which I've heard before, and all that kind of stuff is like as grand and hard to grasp and human and relatable, but like hard to kind of hold on to as any of his other movies' ideas are. I just think that this one is like a little more in your face about it. You know, it's a little more direct, and it's a little more like, and I think that's the purpose of making a $140 million movie is it's like, yeah, it's cool to like rewatch and unfold things and have different meanings over the course of your lifetime, which I think this will, but like you do need to have people walk away with a feeling of kind of satisfaction as in like this affirmed or challenged my values in a way that I can actually talk about at the Chili's over some margaritas after I saw this movie, you know, which I think he understands. That was part of the thing that I was so shocked about, but not shocked at the same time because he is like Paul Thomas Anderson is like, I was constantly watching him do like big budget action adventure filmmaking and like excelling at it, you know, the chase sequences and the car chases. I mean, just like all that kind of shit. And I'm just like, this is incredibly just so exciting, right? Yeah. So well done. This guy can do anything he wants. And you're just like, wait, I didn't know he had this in his bag. Of course he fucking has this in his bag. He's Paul Thomas. You can do whatever. You're choosing not to do this? Yeah. He like chose to make like The Master, for example. Yeah. Instead of like a Western. Yeah. Or instead of a military movie. Yeah. Or instead of these like more kind of commonly understood, not relatable, but like selling movies, you know what I mean? That have like a little more thrill on their surface. Yeah. And for him to just like at, 50, 60 years old, just be like, no, I'm going to decide to put together the best car chase the last 5 years. Yeah. Cool.
Nice call. Yeah.
Cool. I don't know. Yeah. But then you also see it in his other movies, though, where you're like, a car flips in Punch Drunk Love. Yeah, yeah. And it's incredible. You're like, what the fuck? Yeah. And a car flips in this movie in the same kind of like, I was just braced by that car flipping and the same thing. Yeah. You know, the oil fire in There Will Be Blood. I mean, he constantly does stuff where you're like, how the fuck did that guy do it? Yeah. Totally. But for him to do it for 2 hours straight in a movie is like, well, I guess, yeah, sure. Of course you could do this. Yeah. So
I think it's a great point. I mean, it's the most in your face of his movies, like where it's like,
well, Magnolia, I just watched last night.
Well, sure, yes. But even with Magnolia, it's like that movie.
It's a drama.
It's in your face, but also it's like when it ends, it's kind of like, what? What is this? What? And I think that obviously that was a clear like. That's a clear distinction in his career. Like he has to have a bit of a reset after Magnolia, because it's kind of. That's every part of him right there. He dumps it all out. He's like 30 years old and he's like, I got to start over. Like I've given everything I got. I got to figure out some other stuff. Yeah. And with this movie, it's truly like, it's like watching like a 70s political thriller in so many ways, where it's kind of beat to beat to beat. And the tension is so dead on. Mm-hmm. Obviously PTA's humor is always been there, and this movie features that so well.
Sean Penn's boner on IMAX.
I mean, what a treat.
I think he wasn't going to use VistaVision, but then Sean Penn was like, watch what I can do with...
You haven't seen me
with little El Chapo here.
Yeah. You haven't seen me go to work.
So hold on. Let's get Giovanni Ribisi to give us the VistaVision. That's a deep cut.
It's a very interesting point for him in his career, where I'm very curious to see where he goes from here. I think I'll be very curious to see where this movie goes from here. I think the movie is very clearly a huge Oscar player. I think it's got a real shot at Best Picture at all of them.
Right now, I think it's going to win.
If they were today, they would win.
It's also probably like the best Paul Thomas Anderson. It's his time, because it is kind of a little more straight down the middle. I like how we're saying that, but he does have a white supremacy group named the Christmas Adventurers.
Yeah. There's still plenty of quirks. And, that's something I think is very interesting, is I read the book that this is loosely adapted from.
You've read Vineland.
I did read Vineland this year.
Today.
I read it today. Yeah. Just finished it.
How close is it? I haven't heard about this yet.
It is You can see it. It's like they are similar. Honestly, it's incredible how he adapted it.
Really?
Because I don't know if you know much about. Really? I don't know if you know much about Pynchon as a writer.
I know he's like
Pynchon.
unknown.
Yeah, he's a mystery, and his books are.
His Instagram is set on private.
Yeah, he has to follow you first. His books are truly an enigma. I mean, and Vineland, I hear, is one of his more accessible books. It's the only one of his I've read.
Okay,
and this is PTA's second adaptation of his.
People call
Inherent
Vice one of his least accessible movies.
Yeah,
not successful, accessible.
Accessible, yeah, totally. And it's because, I mean, Pynchon is, as a writer, is. I mean, there's just nothing like him. Like you never know where he's going, and that's like when I read Vineland, I was like, how the fuck are they gonna make a movie out of this? Because it goes all over the map, and like time, its timeline is so hard to distinguish. Like one moment you're modern day, and then literally in the blink of a sentence, it's 1910, and you're like, how the hell did we get here, and why are we here? And so in reading, I was like, man. I know it was interesting to hear like the reports being PTA. This movie is going to be on the larger scale for him. It's his biggest movie yet, and I was like, I mean, it would have to be a huge scale to tackle this book. Now, what he has done is he's distilled kind of one thread of the book, and has made the movie there. The first 30 minutes of the movie are like a broader view of longer stretches of the book, kind of this history of these rebels, the French 75, kind of how they come to be. That's kind of a through line throughout the book. But this chase element, that is kind of one thread of the book.
You know what I was thinking of? Sorry to break you off track. And just to like crown us with like the most insufferable podcast ever.
Please, yeah.
Because we weren't doing it before.
Sure.
The first car chase, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah, after the bank robbery?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was awesome.
Was like so close to the New Jersey bank robbery car chase in Sorcerer.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the way the car T-bones him in the side, and you hear it, and it's like all like seemingly like live noise, like they just put a car into another car.
Yeah.
It's so violent. It was like, I was like, oh my God, I'm watching Sorcerer right now.
All the car chases, all the car wrecks, I should say, are so visceral.
Yeah.
It's like, honestly, because I was in a wreck. You were there a couple months ago.
What?
You were in a wreck. Well,
I wasn't there, but
You were a little ahead.
I was actually on the cliff above with a VistaVision camera.
Holy shit! Thank God we got that. Like watching it, I was like, it was kind of like, holy shit, this is crazy. Like the fact that these cameras he's driving these cameras 90 miles per hour into a car.
They're like under the car. I mean, it was probably like a rig because you're gonna see it, but like I was because I saw the movie with Josh out.
Yeah.
And known sound guy at Josh out. We mentioned him on the pod a lot. Was telling me how much more popular it's become in the last few years to just record live audio of people driving essentially and doing stuff, and the dialogue, and not filling in the post noises of engines and stuff like that later. Maybe because the mics are better now, maybe because I don't know. It's just become more popular to use that kind of natural, dirty kind of sound. I'm sure that they add post effects to make the crashes sound more violent, but it does have that feeling like there's like no color around it. It's not like Gary Hecker has his hands on these things almost. And it's like pretty bracing in a way that feels like more violent, ironically, because there's less noise. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah, it just feels
realer.
Real.
Yeah.
It's holy shit.
It was also like when everyone's talking about the hills on the car chase in the second one at the end of the movie. But like the idea I was telling Josh, so I was like, yo, like I feel like we've like seen so many car chases by this point. Everyone has done their best to reinvent them. Like Bourne sent a car, downstairs in a Mini Cooper, or, Fast and Furious 5 what if we drag a Volt on a car,
Yeah.
Nobody has really thought about, we've done everything.
Yeah.
Except for, I love it, PTA was like, whoa, hold up. Guys, everyone's going in a straight line. That's all people are doing. But we're going to change the fucking road.
Yeah. What if we just go up and down?
Yeah.
Hills.
And you're like, oh.
That's fucking genius.
It's like, God damn it.
It's so cool. It's
Especially
truly,
on the IMAX.
It is so cool.
I saw a tweet that was like, yo, we got to like figure out how to give an Oscar for roads, like best achievement in pavement. Well,
It is incredible. How the hell did
incredible.
they pave that road? But I don't know. It's fascinating to watch him adapt. This will tie into my pitch later.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Anderson is one of our Mr. PD is one of our finest kings of adaptation.
It's going to tie into my pitch later.
Yeah.
I love how this is book club here today.
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
he's a wizard of adaptation.
Well, I've never read a book that he's adapted into a movie.
It's whenever the only one I have is Vineland.
Yeah.
But when you hear them talk about, like, if you listen to interviews or behind the scenes stuff, whenever it's like about Inherent Vice or it's about There Will Be Blood, it's like these books are not. These are books nobody's tackling.
Upton Sinclair's Oil.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not really like a.
You're not going after.
That's
oil.
not Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
There, yeah. I do love like Christopher Nolan, The Odyssey's coming out. And
yeah.
obviously, it's been mentioned by this point, but you look on IMDb and it says like written by Christopher Nolan, story by Homer, which is like the funniest credit ever. I think that up to that point, the funniest credit ever, or just the most of a flex on a writing credit, is at the end of There Will Be Blood, where it's like written by Paul Thomas Anderson, based on Upton Sinclair's Oil.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, come on, what?
Get out of here! Come on.
Upton Sinclair gets the fucking story by
Yeah.
a true classic muckraker of his time. Anyway,
it's incredibly impressive how he adapted that book to be what is an extremely watchable movie.
I think it's more than watchable. I think I really do think it's an excellent blockbuster movie.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I like it just watchable in the it's extremely entertaining. It's to me it is just like it works stupendously in a theater where
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is just it's incredible to take that book and to make it an IMAX movie.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't. And I guess maybe it's just hit or miss with you, or maybe at different times where like it really did like without getting too personal on my own podcast. There was a lot of the day I saw it, I was like really stressed out about this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was about this like decision I had to make, and I was thinking about a lot of things. And it was one of those movies where you see it and it really kind of and as do all of his movies really for me, but like it put a mirror on my own kind of choices, and made me think about things in a more zoomed out way, And I think even though it's more straightforward than maybe a Phantom Thread or whatnot, it still had that ability. It did kind of really hit me on like a your choices and actions type of way.
Yeah.
And I think that it was really effective in that.
Yeah.
In that sense. And it has to do with that kind of generational conflict, or that ideas of I've heard this before, but like those who have the willpower don't have the wisdom, and those who have the wisdom don't have the willpower, that kind of thing.
True.
So
I think it's interesting. Like the movie, to me, it's so, and I definitely want to rewatch it. Like it's a movie that I'm like I really enjoyed and want to
see
clock
this
again.
division.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I'd like to clock it again. For me, like it is so true to its name, where it's just like it's so propulsive. It's moving one thing after another the entire way,
And that's life.
and it is.
Yeah.
I wanted more breaths. Like there was just like I felt by the end like I was like I didn't feel like I ever got
Really?
the stopping point.
What about Leo in the car where he's talking about, he didn't know how to do her hair? That's kind of a breath there.
It's just so short. I don't know. It's like
What about the DNA test?
It's something about all the moments that do stop because there's so many plot threads that we're cutting between.
Yeah.
It was like I could never really latch on to one of them to really like. I liked all the pieces, but it felt like they kind of like I was being pulled along with them, so that by the end of them, I had the effect of being dragged through the movie of like, whoa, that was like exhausting and like in an exhilarating.
Yeah.
But also at the same time being like, what was it all for? What did we start for?
There's also, we could hear Leo say, "Sup, homie,"
which was awesome.
Yeah.
And Leo was great.
He went Rick Dalton mode in this, right?
He did. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool.
He's been in, he's always been
Sorry, I just threw you off track. Again.
Since the turn of the millennia, he's been playing it's called an aloof man in many iterations. He has really dialed it in.
Yeah, we got the Grand Wizard himself, Benjamin Franklin.
I mean, yeah. I hope you're talking about the Philippines. He has really
vape.
He's dialed in this persona of like the fool that he plays. He plays it so well between this, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Too stupid for me.
And he's too stupid for you.
Yeah, he's too stupid in that movie for me.
And
I didn't believe him.
You're like, there's nobody this dumb.
Yeah, he didn't have wisdom. He has wisdom in this movie.
He does have wisdom in this movie.
Yeah, he knows how to get the Steely Dan guitar effect on it. On an amp. He also knows how to drink and drive.
He's so good at it. No, I mean, I just think that the work he's been doing since really like 2010.
Yeah.
It's boring to be like, man, Leo's a good actor. He's a fucking incredible actor. He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He is so good at doing this. We should really applaud him.
He went bathrobe the entire fucking movie too.
Yeah.
He didn't even have a fit on.
I think it's gonna be that could sneak up into the top Halloween costume of the year.
I think it's an easy one.
Yeah.
It's like just a little bit of an alteration on the Big Lebowski.
Oh, yeah.
Can I ask you something off the cuff? Speaking of Big Lebowski, can you name other famous bathrobes in movies? We got Big Lebowski. Mm-hmm. We've got One Battle After Another now. Can you think of any other ones? I was going to ask you this. I should have asked you before.
Because you got more?
Someone's screaming in their car right now. I had more a second ago.
Oh.
We got Tom Hardy and Venom.
Sure, obviously.
I just know that because I was in the Sony Picture Museum.
Today?
No, it's like in there.
Yeah.
We got Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Sure.
Julia Roberts' Pretty Women. It's in the hotel bathrobe. Oh, you know what's a good one? Fight Club, Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
He's in what's her name's bathrobe?
Should we keep this in?
No.
Should we hold on this longer? It feels like this will be a good Halloween costume though.
Yeah.
I might pull it off.
You and everyone else.
I'm gonna be like everybody else in this town.
Before we jump on to our pitches, can I just run through, did this work or did this not work for you?
Yeah.
Tom Petty, American Girl, finishing off the movie.
Honestly, it was one of my one of the notes that worked the least for me.
Yeah, me too. That was the one that worked the least.
Yeah, it was like it would truly the last
final song.
It was like the last 6 minutes of the movie. Honestly, even their final interaction at the table with the letter.
Yeah,
that whole thing. Like
whoa, the entire interaction. Let's just say you're softening the blow on your disdain for this movie.
I really liked it. That's the problem. That's the problem with a movie that has a lot.
You realize this ain't fucking Mickey 17, dude. Like it's like a little better. Like be like, I like some stuff in it.
This is the problem with a movie with this much hype, is that I can't bring a problem to the table. I can't bring
a fucking problem to the table.
I just brought him. The
letter did not work for you.
No.
Ouch.
It's because it's like by that point it's like I'm too far into it. Like it's like there's something about the pacing of the movie that's just off for me. Because it's
so interesting.
It moves and it's invigorating.
Yeah.
And then it kind of left me feeling a little bit emptier than I wanted it to.
I thought the Johnny Greenwood score and the Teyana
incredible.
Taylor letter, I thought that worked so well.
I love his score.
I had such a belief, and I think that there's like a messaging of this movie that can be weaponized through that last scene. It's like Oakland's far away. You should be careful.
Yeah.
Where you're like,
I won't.
Especially in like today's climate of like political violence and all that kind of stuff. Where you're like, oh, is this movie like encouraging people to like go out and like cause like civil unrest or whatever? And it's like, no, I don't think that's really what it's like. The last message, especially the letter, like I think that's why it was effective. Where I was like, man, like you can be angry and you can try to fight systems and oppression and do everything you can, but like the violence and the methods that they went about it in the French 75 at the beginning of it was like, I mean, it was thrilling to watch, but it was almost, you kind of saw the result of it, right? In two senses. One, Teyana Taylor ratting on everyone and living in exile. And two, Leo DiCaprio sitting on his couch smoking weed, watching Battle of the Algiers.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah.
But the kind of the two sides of that being not ineffective, but not how they thought their lives or how the world was going to turn out, being like the lessons that Willow, is it Willow, Chase Infinity's character? Willow can learn into being like, well, you're going to go to Oakland and do this, but you've killed someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've experienced violence in a way that's bracing and horrifying and awful.
Yeah.
And you've also seen the good in what her parents have taught her of like why they committed horrible acts. It's like, what's the hybrid of that affects the world in a positive way? And I really put that on like, and we'll talk about this later, of like how PTA kind of like very obviously almost like puts his own life and his own feelings into his characters.
Yeah.
Really putting that on like, what do we wish for our children in a way that I thought was like really modern and worked really well. And I needed both the letter at the end and Leo DiCaprio smoking weed, not knowing how to use his phone, like both sides of that almost. So it hit me. I thought it was like really effective and smart and moving.
I think that
very moving.
I think the idea of them is dead on. It's just something. It's like because it's just like it happens and it's done.
Yeah.
There's something about it like it's almost
the pacing.
Yeah, I think it's just like there's just it's out of sync with the rest of it where it's like because I know I'm saying like I wanted breaths here or there and you're like and you're pointing to breaths.
Yeah.
You're pointing to them. It's just there's something about them where they just feel a little bit off, and in that moment it's like I want more of this, and I want it like it's because like that final car crash and car chase happens, and then we're at the table, letter, movie over, basically.
I mean, obviously, you're forgetting about Sean Penn. Yeah, Penn getting gassed out in the corner office. Yeah,
and I think the Penn of it all, because that storyline is really interesting.
Yeah,
but it almost, to me, gets in the way of my connection to what's going on with Leo and with Chase, like with Will and Bob, where it's like that story, Sean's Mr. Penn, Mr. Lockjaw, that storyline is integral to the story that is being told. It's just so much more, I don't know.
He could have died and then not come back. I feel like there was a very intentional reason for like, I mean, it was funny when
to kill him in the office.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty funny when he comes up the hill.
Yeah, it is great.
And then the way he looked after. I don't know if I'm making this up or I heard it, which is not good. There is something like pretty effective, and I was like, why are we just gonna do this to like kill him again? Like what? But then him putting his feet up in the corner office and then just getting like smoked out in that corner office, like felt very. It felt like PTA was like really passionately trying to make a point of like, this is sort of what this pursuit gets you in your life is you will die some sort of middle manager. Yeah. In a way,
Yeah, it's a good final beat to his storyline for sure.
It wraps it up better than I think if he just got almost like Departed, and I say Departed because everyone gets killed in The Departed. Like, oh fuck, wait, that guy's dead now. Yeah. Like it does kind of get like more of a point across. Totally, I think, than if he just died in the car.
Yeah, totally.
But it breaks a little momentum. You're right.
It's just like I don't know. It almost just wraps up in terms of the Bob and Willow storyline, the storyline that I care the most about. Yeah. And because they only share the screen really for like 8 minutes.
We got the opening scene.
Yeah. Then where it's like she's going to the dance. Yeah. And then on the road and then back in the house again. Yeah. It's really, and I'm like, man, I wanted more of that. And I know that's like part of the story is that it's like his pursuit of his daughter.
Hell yeah.
What he's going at,
that's what it is. Yeah.
How he's working for it. I just want more of it.
Wow.
And I would
love this, dude. Finally, a podcaster who fucking hates one battle after another.
Finally. I would give this movie a 9 out of 10.
You'd give it a 9 out of 10? You still have this many problems with it?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what's with a movie at this scale where it's this impressive. Yeah. And I enjoyed it this much. It's like then you bring up an issue. Yeah. And the whole world says, hey.
Well, I mean, you know what's funny is like Sinners is an example of a movie that I thought was like really fun and really cool to watch, and had like a lot of very intelligent and like not new ideas, but like ideas that had not been intertwined in a blockbuster exactly like One Battle After Another.
Yeah.
But I just think had like a worse script, like structurally didn't work as well as a script like, not to like compare apples and oranges, but like just to put an example on like a movie that was like really well praised that I could be like, well, actually, you know, I'm not sure we got to A to B to C in the way that I wanted to. You know? And for that to be like a, well, what are you saying? You know, do you think that Ryan Coogler shouldn't be able to make movies? You're like, no. I just think
I've had just things I had issue with, or not even issue. It's just like these are my thoughts.
This
on
like
the movie. That's how I feel about this movie.
Yeah,
I really liked it.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it, and yet I'm also still like, I think it's just this movie currently. Let me get our most recent, our freshest update
on what. On
this
LBX?
Movie is on LBX.
Yeah.
This movie is ranked 26th all time.
Boom.
That is real, and it has 402,000 people. 402,000 people who have seen this movie.
Wow.
That is a lot of people for it to be that high. So then I'm like, man, that's a pretty high rating.
I'm seeing. We've got some people out here who've given it 4 stars.
They're out there.
Yeah.
And I think,
and you're the 4-star nation right there.
I'm right between a 4 and 5. Some would call that a 4.25.
Or 4.5.
You really can't rate that.
I got 3 likes on my review. Look at that.
Good for you.
You know what it was?
What?
This is a good thing to say. I was on a flight. I was on a Delta flight with Teyana Taylor once. Did I tell you about that?
You did actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Delta flight. Teyana Taylor and her ex-husband Amon Shumpert.
Wow.
I mean, just thinking that in a world where their love existed, Amon Shumpert could be in a photo with Paul Thomas Anderson.
Ugh.
My world would have that would have exploded my brain.
King's legend, Amon Shumpert.
Knicks legend.
Yeah.
Cavs legend.
Everybody's had a piece. Yeah. Piece of Shumpert.
Yeah. Anyway,
but you've recently come off a retreat of a week of Paul.
I've been I went on the PTA retreat.
Yeah,
it happens every year up in Big Bear.
Mm-hmm.
We go up and
watch movies inside,
smoke Camel Lights and just watch PTA movies. I did, I guess we could start talking about our pitches in this conversation.
Yeah.
But like I'm one of these guys that have I've seen Boogie Nights, 6-7 years ago.
Sure.
Seen individual scenes from it on cable since then, and then had seen There Will Be Blood probably 2017-ish range. Mm-hmm. And probably the first movie, as I think you said me, Punch Drunk Love was the first.
Would have been the first
PTA for the only reason I was talking with my roommate Noah about this the other day, where it's if you look up rom-coms, it shows up on Google every time. And you're like, oh, Adam Sandler, and you see the poster, and they're in the airport, and they're kissing, and you're like,
how sweet.
You're like, this would be kind of sweet. I'm going to watch this. And you watch it, and you're like,
oh, my God.
You're like, yo, wait, what's going on with the frozen food?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a 4-pack, so he gets double or triple, quadruple more points.
Yeah.
And that really, I liked Punch Drunk Love when I watched it, but really kind of threw me off the scent of the PTA hive. I think it's one of these guys that if he gets you too young, and this could be a controversial opinion, but at least for me, because I wasn't really exposed to a lot of art films growing up, if these movies get you too young, they're a little scary. And I don't mean scary like horror scary. I mean scary as in you have to then grapple with and grasp adult concepts that can be not only confusing but almost unreadable sometimes in his movies. Mm-hmm. That if you're just at the wrong age, they just go either over your head or they're just a little unsettling.
Yeah, totally.
And it kind of scared me off from him for a while, you know? And it's funny, There Will Be Blood was kind of the movie where I was I've seen that movie 4 times maybe, and I've seen it at the Arrow, and I've watched it a bunch of times and feel like, oh man, I love that. But I still had just not gone back and seen The Master and seen Phantom Thread, some of these newer ones, and even seen Magnolia, and going back and kind of I'd say almost completing the list. Was at 26 years old such a fulfilling experience, and it's also kind of puts you in a point where you're tracking how you watch movies, because I'm now becoming I saw Boogie Nights at the Egyptian a few months ago when it was playing there for 70mm Fest, and it's like understanding that like as like a young adult now, I have like such a better understanding of what this movie is about and all the characters and all that stuff than I did when I saw it at 17 or something. And it being this like just so much more entertaining movie where I was like, at first I was like, it's impressive and kind of funny, but now I'm like, yo, this movie is fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I feel the way about all his movies. He has never missed in my head. Never missed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even Magnolia, which I watched last night for the first time. Way too long, obviously. But no, but it's got, I really feel like a real like profound connection with something in every single one of his movies.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, it's pretty singular, you know? Yeah.
It is very singular. I was talking about this with Jerry today where we were kind of talking about, you know, because obviously he has an immense following. People know the
Talking
name.
about Jerry?
Jerry has a following. Paul Thomas Anderson.
On r/almost
Kana.
Friday. Oh, that's the sub.
Yeah. Paul Thomas Anderson has like, you know, such a following to him. And he's known.
And is not as popular as we think he is, too.
No, he's not. But he's like a name that I think even a lot of casual filmgoers would know the name to be like, oh, yeah, I've heard of him. And they probably would have seen. I think a lot of people watch There Will Be Blood like in school at some point. I think it's shown in a lot. I know it was shown in like an English class when I was in high school.
Really?
And a lot of people were like, oh, that was pretty crazy. And like
they showed me Boogie Nights in the second grade, by the way, too. So
they were right to do that. Somebody needs to teach you.
Kids, this is Nina Hartley.
Look at his penis. This is the last shot of the movie. And I you know, he's known, you know, and I think in a pretty big way, but at the same time, it's like, what is he known for? He's not like a guy like I don't like a Tarantino that has
it's like blood.
It's like it's so vicious, so gory, like or it's like, you know, it's always just riffing on like, you know, exploitation films in various areas. You know, it's his movies are just each one is so unique.
They have their own visual language.
Yes. Yeah. And in watching it, like he has, you know, some similar shot constructions between movies, but really it's just like each one is just like you get it. I think that there can be some similars thematically for sure, but they can take place in vastly different worlds and universes and timelines. Yeah. And when you watch, you're just like, I can't think of somebody else who could have made this. Certainly not today. Like they just don't. Nobody else makes movies in the way that he does.
I think that he is also like more unafraid to write things that are directly happening to him in ways that other filmmakers are like, for example, Tarantino, he's like, I'm going to make like a vignette chapter war epic about Nazi Germany, or, you know, or, you know, what, there's less like, I was talking about construction of his movies. He has these worlds that are not his own world a lot of the time. But like, it's pretty, if you do enough deep diving or, you know, listening to podcasts or whatever of Paul Thomas Anderson talking, which he does, he's a very normal person on interviews and stuff like that. You could start pretty easily like associating, and this is a dangerous thing to do, but you could start pretty easily associating his life with the conflicts his characters are going through. Yeah. And I think that kind of like level of craft that he's able to do it with lets him do that in more singular and also like different ways than someone who is a little more like limited in a visual style, you know, who's like, I can talk about myself, but it sort of has to be in this genre. Yeah. Or it sort of has to be like in this writing style. Yes. He's pretty ambidextrous in this way that he's able to be like, I want to talk about what I think about marriage. And then he's basically like, well, I can make any type of movie. Yeah. So I'm going to do like, do it in this world. I'm going to do like a period drama in, you know, 1950s London, you know. He's pretty fearless in that way. It's just, I mean. And confident. Yeah. Super confident. Yeah. I mean, I think about that. You said you didn't watch Hard 8. Right. Listen, guys, I've never seen Hard 8. I don't. You don't really need to. I mean, I'm gonna go watch it tonight. I'm gonna add something to this podcast. It's in post. It's throw it in. It's enjoyable, but it's certainly his like. It's his weakest script. It's very clearly it's clearly his first movie. Yeah. It's amazing to think about his jump from that movie to Boogie Nights. Yeah, it's remarkable. But even in Hard 8,
we watch a lot of debut features and watch a lot of like independent films and whatnot. And when you watch Hard 8, it's like he's 26 or 27 or something.
Yeah, he's younger.
He might be younger.
He's like 25.
There's a oneer through like a large casino room, and it's going weaving in and out of tables, and it lands eventually on Philip Seymour Hoffman at this craps table or something. And this shot is ballsy.
Yeah.
Like it's just like holy fuck. Like and at this point he's made like a short film. He made the short film that he showed to Philip Baker Hall to be like, would you want to make a movie with me, basically? Which doesn't have this shot.
It's like only if I molest someone.
Yeah.
That's in the movie later.
That's something we can work out. And this shot is just like, man, to have the confidence at 25, 26 to be like, yeah, this shot is like a minute long. We're going across the whole room. And certainly people would be like, really? Are you serious? Like, do you actually, that's gonna be such a bitch.
We gotta lay down some fucking track, bro.
Yeah. You want us to lay down track? He's like, yeah, I want you to lay down fucking track. And it's an incredible shot. And it's just like, you can see it from that first movie where it's like, it's painting in pretty broad strokes. Like I think, his first few movies do a little more. Like they're painting, like their characters can be a little more, they can play in more generalizations than by the time you get to like Phantom Thread. Where it's like, this is the most specific thing of all time.
Or like Eli Sunday.
Yeah. Like there's stuff about like those, like Magnolia, where it's like they're playing
the cokehead.
Yeah. There's just like, they're a little more caricature-y.
I don't know. TJ Maxx, man. That guy, he's pretty one-on-one.
I mean, he's the best there is. But it's like, he just is so supremely confident. It jumps off the page. It jumps off the screen.
So how do you pitch a movie? How do you go about? Because I kind of developed a theory around this.
Okay.
I think by far the hardest pitch that we have engaged in
is this one.
Yeah, because I mean it's so autobiographical, his movies, and as I said, and you're saying how the specificity he's gone into and the richness in these characters that is like it kind of defies convention.
Yeah.
And how unpredictable he can be in what genre or what style of movie. It really leads itself to not being like, all right, what's Jason Statham going to do next? Or, even a director or a producer. We've done all different types of people. But my goal of it was to take as I spoke about before, a not broad, but a common human question, of God or religion or greed or, in one battle after another, it's like generational trauma or, generational or just like how what we teach our kids, there are all these different types of things, as I talked about now 5 times in this. Take something like that, find the world that is completely unconventional for a movie and try to just supplant it in there and see if he can rock with it. Yeah. I think that's kind of his. I've heard him talk in an interview about him not wanting. He doesn't think of theme first, which is crazy because these movies have such running thematic choices through them.
Yeah.
But like, he doesn't think of theme. He seems like a real character guy at first.
Yeah.
And he's also talks about listening to your characters, listening to where they want to go, which is also tough because that kind of defies convention in a lot of way too.
Yeah.
So it's, it's a challenge.
Yeah, it is a challenge. And that brings me back to his, the point of being like, that's why his writing feels almost more, not that books can't be extremely plotted and structured, but there is something, but I think
richness in character.
Yeah. The characters that we get from literature that I think is really present in his writing. And I think that's evident by him saying that. He said that often, where he's like, I'm following these characters and letting that dictate where the story is going. That's why they can feel so unpredictable. Yeah. And they can get you into stretches of movies where you're like, how did we even end up here? Yeah. What is this? And how does this relate? But it's like so rooted in that guy or this guy. And
it's the Altman.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the Altman.
It's a rich Altman text. But I mean, if we're getting into actually pitching, that's where I ended up with mine. I thought about books. And
Yeah,
you mentioned it.
I kind of backed my way into a book. But
Okay.
we both have books that we're going to adapt.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm going bookie.
Okay. Well,
How do we go? Who goes first in our pitch conversation today?
yeah, Tanner's clearly not here.
Tanner, who goes first?
I'm trying to think of what person with the last name Anderson Tanner probably assumed we were talking about.
He could have looked. There was a couple Andersons at my high school. He
Okay.
coulda looked
Yeah, he's
up.
like, oh, it's that guy, right? Yeah.
Be like, oh my god, how did you know that?
Or he'd let us talk for like 45 minutes, and then in minute 46, he'd be like, wait, this isn't the guy who directed Rushmore?
That's a good one. Yeah, he'd probably think we were talking about Wes Anderson. Or
Didn't we have an Anderson off when we did the Wes Anderson episode? Didn't we chat about that? How we were like the phenomenon of people our age just being confused on which Anderson directed a movie when we were younger. I think the powers and us got into that a little bit.
The powers that be.
The powers that be, Chris and Dan.
Yeah. Since we don't have a producer Tanner here today, how do we decide who goes first?
Well, you're getting married this week.
So I should just go first.
Is it technically this week?
Yeah, this episode will come out on Wednesday of the week I get married. Yeah,
You're still doing that, right?
I'm going through that.
Okay.
Yeah. Making that happen.
Well, because you're getting married this week,
Okay.
I think you should decide.
Shit up. Hell, why don't I just go first?
Okay.
So
This movie is about divorce.
it kind of is actually. This isn't in conversation with my upcoming life events. But Paul Thomas Anderson, as you know, we've talked about it a little bit already, is just. I think he's incredible. He's an incredible adapter.
Yes.
And he can take stories in, Vineland, which is, I think, 300 plus pages, and its scale is far more reaching than that. And he was able to distill that story into what is a supremely entertaining film.
Yeah,
that is,
completely ineffective for your heart.
and that completely, burst my bubble.
You've always been more of a Christmas adventurer, though.
Yeah, I'd like to consider myself one of the team, one of the brothers. And that's why I wanted to kind of group together
Yeah.
Paul Thomas Anderson and one of my favorite writers, which is Jonathan Franzen,
Yeah.
and his book from 2010, Freedom. You ever read this book?
I know the cover very well.
It's a famous cover.
the bird and
Yeah.
the water.
It
I
was
remember you reading this, actually.
I read this. I actually was reading this when we were in Idlewild last year.
Yes. Yeah.
And this was an Oprah book club pick many years ago. And this was a book that when I was a kid, I saw so many households with this book.
Yeah, I think my mom had it on the shelf.
Yeah, it was just, in like one of those, major book club ways, like where Oprah ruled books back then.
Yeah.
It's like if she signed off on it, your average family was like, I guess we should pick up Freedom.
Yeah.
I guess we should grab a copy of that just to have. And then when you crack the book open, you're like, oh my God.
What the fuck is Oprah doing?
Yeah, Oprah, you're spreading this to everyone. I really do love the book, and let me tell you what it's.
Yeah. What's
about here.
Freedom about?
Freedom here? I'm going to give you the Goodreads pitch to it, but it's all, and I'm going to get into the thread I would take out of it to make our movie.
All right.
Patty and Walter Berglund were the new pioneers of old St. Paul, the gentrifiers, the hands-on parents, the avant-garde of the Whole Foods generation. But now, in the new millennium, the Berglunds have become a mystery. Why has their teenage son moved in with the aggressively Republican family next door? Why has Walter taken a job working with Big Coal?
Ugh.
Yeah. Most of all, what has happened to Patty? Why has the bright star of Barrier Street become a very different kind of neighbor, an implacable fury coming unhinged before the street's attentive eyes? And then there's more words to that, but I'm going to leave it at that. It's kind of your it's a domestic drama.
Yeah.
And the book spans probably 30 years.
Wow.
It cycles back to when Patty and Walter are two main characters, the heads of this family, the Berglund family, when they first meet in college. And there's a third member to that, which is Richard Katz, who's Walter's best buddy, who has an affair with Patty.
Okay.
And that's a whole love triangle thing. But what I want to focus on...
The coal.
the coal. That actually is what I want to focus on.
Oh, really?
Is the coal. Is with Big Coal. Which is that this book has a thread to it where, yes, Walter is this, he works in government. He's an environmentalist. And he is going to, I believe it's West Virginia, to basically they're going to break ground on this big brand new sanctuary for birds.
Okay. The bird on the cover.
The bird on the cover, which is a Cerulean warbler, songbird. And
for anyone who's got trivia night coming up,
you're gonna want to use that. And so this in West Virginia, there's this massive coal reserve, and Walter is trying to basically make a sanctuary for birds, like within this working ground.
Yeah.
So he's trying to fight back because they're just gonna lay demolition of this area in West Virginia, and they're just gonna mine it for all it's worth.
Yeah.
And he's like, we got to protect this bird, and he's going to war with them basically. And it's this becomes this story of him moving out of his house in St. Paul, Minnesota, where he has been with his family, and his family has fallen apart. And his family, he does get his family to move to D.C. And it's Patty and Walter, their son and daughter have gone on to live their lives, and they're in D.C. And it's kind of this. We watch how Walter's life becomes entwined with his assistant, his much younger female assistant, and they're like them as they're basically going into different government offices within DC to get the ball moving on this bird sanctuary.
I think you've hit on something that he hasn't done yet,
which is like
bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Modern bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Even any type of bureaucracy, though.
Yeah. And I think that it would be really interesting, especially with how he played with the Christmas Adventurers.
Yes. What was it? The vice president of, or was it the vice chair of progress? Tony Golden. What does he introduce himself as?
It was something like that.
He's like deputy chair of progress.
Yeah. It's like, man, that sounds like
I can't believe we got some Scarsdale in there, by the way.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we got good Scarsdale in this movie. Real good.
Tony, what are your most impactful roles in the past couple of years? It's probably Plane and One Battle After Another.
Those are kind of my top two.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see him kind of tackle this, this bright-eyed environmentalist who has lived this life for so long and lived this like very left, very openly liberal lifestyle that then he is now like, as his like personal life and his family life is kind of falling apart around him, he's still like, he's so committed to his political cause that he's kind of losing all other parts of himself at the expense of this like very rare bird in West Virginia.
That feels very PTA-esque.
Yeah, and it's like this. It's like this obsessive pursuit that he's going after.
Got it.
And then at the same time, it's like his wife, Patty, trying to make sense of like the hell has happened to like my husband that he's going after. Like, and this leads her to kind of reconnect with that. The third of the love triangle.
Yeah.
I just think it's a really interesting domestic drama, like kind of love triangle situation that plays in a great way that I think he is so good at, that seems so intimate, that ultimately plays to a much larger scale.
Yes.
The final stretch of this book and would be this movie, which I've read this. They announced that Scott Free is adapting this for television.
For television, he's really getting into some episodes, or
I think he's just currently an executive producer on this. I would be stunned if that ever happens.
What if it was announced that that Scott Cooper was going to direct all 8 episodes? How excited would you be?
I don't think I can say on camera. I don't think I can say on mic.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Silence.
I am going to because I know this is funny because you went to the Scott Cooper Q&A for Pale Blind Eye, right?
Pale Blue Eye.
Pale Blue Eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to the Scott Cooper Q&A for
really.
Yeah.
At the DGA.
At the WGA.
Oh, funny. Okay.
With probably we'll see if we got an extra ticket.
Let me know.
I mean, that's an awesome
awesome way to burst in. Onto the scene. Yeah, if Scott Cooper was touching Freedom, I'd be a little scared.
But we got PTA touching it. Who's in the cast, though?
This is a great cue.
And this is where the pitch conversation comes in. You could bounce some ideas off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting a little more loose with our pitches these days. We're having fun with it.
This
We're
is the Brad Pitt episode, the pitch conversation. This
birthed
is what we
a new
do.
format, really. Because I think I'd want... Because I think PTA's casting is always very interesting. He's always been a guy that is looking in spots that a lot of people aren't looking. Like him going after Adam Sandler for the lead of Punch Drunk Love, like seeking him out, making a movie for him to be in.
And liking his rage in comedies and being like, what if you really felt this way and kicked 3 glass doors and you were like a little sad after you did it? Yeah.
I guess.
I did it in The Water Boy.
Yeah. I could do it here. Him like going after Alana Haim with no acting experience.
Yeah.
Him going after Cooper Hoffman, purely based on having a great relationship with his father. Like,
Dude, I was watching a little bit of Licorice Pizza last night. First of all, finding Skylar Gisondo out of like Disney movies or wherever that guy was.
Yeah.
And being like, yo, you're gonna be like, yo, you're gonna be this specific character. He's fucking hilarious in that movie.
He's so funny in that movie.
He's like, oh, they got the steaks back here. That's great. That's great. It's on the plate. He's like, como está?
That movie is hilarious.
Yeah. But in One Battle After Another, dude, the casting was like all over the place in such a weird way. The guy who played, I'm looking at Danvers, who was the interrogator under Sean Penn.
Yeah. He was great.
He has never been in a movie before. All right.
He was really good.
He's actually like a private security consultant in real life.
Okay.
I'm sure has maybe done some like consulting on, that's probably how he found him, but has never been in a movie before. And if you go on his LinkedIn right now, it says that on LinkedIn, his last employment credit is Warner Brothers, part-time, and under description, it's performer, parentheses, One Battle After Another, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson.
It's awesome.
That's absolute LinkedIn heat right there.
I mean, that one's getting a thumbs up from
what
me.
have you been doing? I'm working part-time for Warner Brothers. Oh, what are you doing, security? No, I'm actually playing Sean Penn's
Secondhand
and One Battle After Another.
He was incredible. I thought.
He's really good.
Yeah,
he was horrifying.
He was. Yeah. his conversation was like when he's interrogating the teens, especially. It was like, whoa.
So she does have a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he was good.
I think that like
there's a lot of non-actors in One Battle After Another.
It's very specific where the actors are and where the non-actors are too. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't mean to get like political or anything, but it felt very intentional in a way where like you see men in uniform on like in the news now and stuff like that.
Yeah.
During like, what's going on in Los Angeles stuff. And you're like, you zoom in. It was like, was that guy like an officer like 6 months ago?
Yeah.
And it felt that way in this movie where I was like, this guy does not seem like he should be in a movie right now.
Yeah.
In this like military uniform.
Yeah. It feels like this guy does this. Yeah.
Or it's like this guy like was like just a pedestrian a second ago.
Yeah.
Who was like jacked and liked, Call of Duty. And now he's like, it felt very like scary in like a very real world way like that.
Yeah. There definitely are moments in this movie where you're kind of like, it's like it's hard to remember that it's like a movie in a way. You're like, man, how are they pulling this off? Like all the like just like
the same way Battle of the Algiers is, by the way.
Yeah.
If you watch that movie, you're like, yo, did they just film? And it's something that in Argo, I think Ben Affleck used a lot of Algiers in there too, where you're like, when they're hitting the car, there's a lot of scenes you're like, yo, like what the fuck's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how are they capturing this chaos?
Yeah. Anyway, but
which is what brings back to Jonathan Franklin's Freedom. I just think it would be really cool to see him tackle this book. But in terms of casting, we were kind of hitting on that. He really thinks outside of the box here. Mm-hmm. And I don't really have anybody that like jumps off the page to me. And I think that's kind of a thing for him with his movies. I think that he, in the same way that he's writing such specific characters, I do think that he's often writing with specific performers in mind too.
Absolutely,
I think it seems to be like a big thing for him as well.
Yeah.
And
let's get loose with it though.
Yeah.
I have an idea specifically of who's the titular character in this movie because he has not given him his titular role yet.
Okay.
It's his best bud, John C. Reilly.
Oh, sure.
Is he too old?
No. He'd be great.
I just think like it's kind of crazy how close they are, how many times they've worked together.
Yeah.
But like, because he did it for Hoffman in The Master.
Yeah.
He's not given Riley like the lead role in one of his movies.
Yeah.
And you'd think that he would have written a role for him, like of that kind of like, he's the protagonist of my movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Riley'd be kind of good, actually. That's a good pitch.
I could also see, and this, he would never do this,
Mm-hmm.
but speaking of Riley, Wahlberg coming back and doing that, because he gives like the little more good looking aspect of it.
Yeah.
I don't think he's an environmental guy though.
I think Wahlberg would be Richard Katz. I think he'd be the buddy.
He's got cats written all over him. Yeah.
He's big fat cat on his head. Yeah, I think Riley's not bad because I think it's a really good idea to have him go after somebody that he knows so well and he's worked with prior.
Do we need an assistant, right?
We need an assistant. That would be. I think she's written as a younger.
Yeah.
She's a younger Asian woman.
Okay.
And I think
Greta Lee?
I love Greta Lee. She's a phenomenal actress.
Yeah. I could see him like getting weird though, be like Brenda Song. You take a break from the Lakers games for a second.
You available? Yeah. I mean,
you did pretty well in The Social Network.
It also just feels like you did. It also feels like he would like for a role like that. It would be like somebody that you've just never seen before.
Yeah.
It'd be like, where did you find?
He'd go Hong Chow mode when Alexander Payne.
You might have to.
Yeah. Just like, have you guys heard of Hong Chow yet?
Get ready.
She going downsize.
Patty's the big fish that remains, though.
Is the wife.
Yeah, is the wife.
I could see him going with like Laura Dern. I'm surprised they've never worked together.
Yeah.
Or does he go back to his roster? You know, his talent pool. You know, it's funny. His heroine or his female characters are the most. I think they're more of wild cards than his male characters are. Like Vicky Crepes or whatever her name was in Phantom Thread.
I'd like to see him get back together with Amy Adams.
She really seemed committed in a real way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. I like Amy Adams in DC.
Yeah.
She feels very, very Beltway.
She could really get into some rooms, get in some trouble.
Yeah, really slam her hands on some conference rooms and make a point.
She'd be drinking and shopping a lot.
Oh, really?
That's what Patty does. She's out there spending money. She doesn't give a fuck. It's Patty Berglund.
I think we got to lock in Adams. So we got John C. Reilly, Amy Adams, and Greta Lee or Hong Chow
and Mark Wahlberg as Richard Katz.
Mark Wahlberg as Richard Katz. Can we get Gazondo in there? We got a part for him?
We'll find.
Can he play the son?
Oh, he'd be a great son.
All right, we got Gazondo.
I don't know how he comes from John C. Reilly's seed, but I like it a lot.
I told you that I once ran into him, Gazondo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eating ramen. That was pre-Licorice Pizza, though. It was probably right before it. I probably saw him during his celebratory dinner when he found out he got Licorice Pizza.
Let's fucking go. Yeah.
I'm shocked that I knew who he was before.
Yeah.
And, you know, he had done a reenactment in that Netflix documentary. He was like a reenactment actor in that The Social Dilemma. You ever see that?
No. But I remember when it was all the rage.
He like starred in it. I don't know. It was one of those where they did like skits in a documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really what put him on.
I remember from Ed Helms' Vacation.
Yeah, he's had a run. Man.
Yeah.
Good for Gazondo. He's
booking work.
now he's in the gun verse.
Yeah. He's a loaded gun. But that's freedom. Right. I just think Franzen has never had a movie actually make it to the end of the line. Okay. Or never had a book make it to the end of the line.
Scott Cooper keeps getting his hands all over them.
Give me that. And
what if he's got a guitar?
What if he was a troubled wrestler? Wait, that's Darren Aronofsky. Yeah. I was thinking of what a mixed wrestler and Wild Heart. Cut this out of the movie.
Top 5 bathrobes go again.
Can I hit that one more time? I know that Todd Field worked on an adaptation with Jonathan Franzen of his book Purity for like years. And
Todd Field is a known non-completer on movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And HBO pulled the plug last minute on that one. It was Daniel Craig, Field, and Franzen.
I actually heard about this.
This was because he talked about it on Maron's podcast.
And
it was
really?
Like he was like it was.
I never listened.
Todd Field was like, it was the most like enriching months of my life, just being in like a writer's room with me, Jonathan Franzen, and and Daniel Craig. And then
Craig was in the room
where it happened. And then HBO was like, this is too expensive. We can't make this. And they're like, okay, great.
HBO was like, can we replace Craig with Gazondo?
Is that possible?
Get that.
His ideas are fresh. That's freedom.
I liked the way you thought about this.
Yeah.
You honestly didn't have me at first. I was like, this seems a little conventional. But as soon as you got into like singular obsession with odd project in larger world that has to representative of this kind of American, I was like, oh, this is a PTA. I like him in a world that he's not been in, obviously.
Yeah, and it would be modern.
Yeah.
Or you could make it a period piece of like it's like 2008. That's when the book takes place, like that section. And that'd be kind of interesting.
I gotta ask you this question though.
Yeah.
So PTA has worked with 2 different composers in his movies, and they have different feelings on his movies. You got John Bryan and Johnny Greenwood.
Yeah.
So is this movie a John Bryan movie? Or
It's a
Greenwood.
Yeah. Who was
what happened with Bryan and PTA?
It feels like they must have had fallen out.
It's funny because like they worked on great movies together.
They did.
And then he works with Greenwood on great movies together because all his movies, but like they have such singular, they're so different. They're types of music, but they also simultaneously fit so well. And the only other time I think we could have pitched PTA movies other than The Future would have been post Punch Drunk Love, because that's the 5-year period before he does There Will Be Blood, and kind of takes this turn into like, as Tarantino likes to say, kind of like levels up in a way where you're like, all right, this guy's now explaining America in movies.
Yeah.
And that's when he starts working with Greenwood. And he kind of doesn't go back. All his movies they're funny, but they're like about more kind of far more serious ideas, I think.
They are, for sure.
Yeah. So it's interesting how that happened.
Yeah, but John Bryan or Brian, I don't know.
Brian?
I don't know.
Byron?
John Brian. He did the score for Lady Bird. Like he's still
out there.
Still out there.
He's actually scored Mulaney's stand-up specials too.
Oh, really?
Enough, yeah.
I mean, I love his Punch Drunk Love score. I think
it's so good.
It's excellent.
That was a great rewatch over the weekend.
Yeah,
or 2 weekends ago.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
He'd go Greenwood on this though.
Okay.
They're bonded for life.
Yeah.
Or a Haim original soundtrack.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna go all Tom Petty on mine.
All right, what do you got?
Wait, before I go into mine, just while we're on the subject of music, real quickly.
Yeah.
PTA goes on the Bill Simmons podcast, interview with Sean Fennessy for Licorice Pizza.
Yeah.
And they are like, dude, that is awesome. How did you think of using Let Me Roll It by Paul McCartney and Wings? Or like, you've just basically owned Life on Mars now in movies. And PTA, because he used it for the trailer there. And it's probably one of the better scenes of the movie is when Life on Mars is playing. PTA goes on this long tangent on like, I feel really particular and special about using songs in movies, and I'm very aggravated when people use a song that's been used before in movies a lot. Because it feels like, he goes, and this is his theory, and this is one of the things I think about with music and movies the most.
Yeah.
If you use a song in a movie, you have to, use that song in a way that is not saving anything in it, but adding to what you've already built on in this movie. But also, you now have ownership over that song in that movie. If you are using a song from another movie, if I use like It Ain't Me or something, or Fortunate Son, or something like that, you have to be commenting on why it was used in the movie prior to yours, or it just doesn't, it's like, he had a real particular point on this.
That's very interesting, yeah.
But I don't understand why he thought so passionately about that, but then used like a very common song at the end of this movie, American Girl, which has been used in like a ton of other movies before.
Yeah.
That felt like completely going against his own rules.
I feel like it could have been a Warner Brothers thing.
Yeah.
I feel like it could have been Warner Brothers being like, can we get like I don't know.
You think he wanted to go Haim, and they were like, no.
Can we do the soundtrack? Can the soundtrack just be I Quit by Haim?
Yeah.
That was an odd one for him.
Go listen to this Bill Simmons podcast
I will. That
interview
sounds
of him
excellent.
talking about music and movies. It is the most informative. I just did a bad job explaining it, but the most informative music and movies conversation for 5 minutes you'll hear. And that's why I was like a little thrown off by him using like, because it wasn't like he was like, oh, this is sarcastic. Or was it? I don't know.
It felt pretty sincere.
Yeah.
Which was odd.
And he also used Dirty Work by Steely Dan. Great song. I thought it worked better, but also like a really
pretty common
known and used music in movies. I know he references Steely Dan earlier with Leo, but like still interesting.
Yeah, it was some of the needle drops were a little like
conventional.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway. All right. We don't have a lot of time left.
Give it to us.
Give it to us. me give it to you.
Yeah.
I pitch movie on podcast. All right.
Yeah.
Me podcast.
I like this.
I'm also adapting a book.
Good for you.
I kind of backed my way into it and also felt like, I told you to read Elric's review of One Battle After Another.
Which I did.
And something that he kind of pops into the first 2 paragraphs is something that I never thought of with PTA movies, but was like really opened up this new kind of portal into how I think about them, where all of his protagonists are very like Sisyphusian, right? It's a lot of it's a lot of pushing the boulder up the mountain, core, as the kids are saying.
Coded.
Pushing up the boulder, coded, core, hype, stan.
Unk.
Yeah. Anyway, but like I think that's really true. I think it's probably represents his own kind of psychology on stuff. I think The Master is probably the most of this out of any of his movies. You know, going into like what Amy Adams says in that movie, which I think is the most powerful line in the movie that I can't remember really exactly, where it's like what we do here is not for, you know, a little bit of time, but it's for 1,000 or 1,000,000 years. Do you remember that line?
Yeah.
It's such like, and then that going into like I don't understand how you live without a master, you know, and this idea of process in a way that I found like really profound. And that's through all of his movies, right? Phantom Thread, obviously, and all of them. So a book that spoke to me a lot on that kind of Sisyphusian effort was this book that I told you about that I read earlier this year called Barbarian Days.
Yeah.
It was written by William Finnegan, who is a like current events writer, international politics writer for the New Yorker. I think he might have retired, but he wrote a lot in South America and South Africa during apartheid, like all these different places around the world. But he wrote this like Pulitzer Prize winning memoir that was basically a memoir that tracked his entire life exclusively on surf trips that he took throughout his life, or more or less whenever he was surfing in his life, which could skip 10 or so years or 8 years, whatever it was. But it was this like really incredibly well written, and I don't surf, like novelization almost of what it's like to chase a wave, to ride a wave, to hunt for a wave, to want to ride waves when you're not riding waves, and how this kind of like insatiable urge to like chase this feeling that he'll never capture led him to his marriage and led him to his own career and his own like journey and creativity to become a writer, and led him to his division with his parents, and then actually the like reconciliation with his parents, and led him to this country and that country and this state and that state. And it felt very PTA coded in that it was this guy who like was pushing this boulder up a mountain, but couldn't necessarily understand why he was doing what he was doing his entire life. Yeah. And the biggest thing that happens in these PTA movies, where you see this kind of like 1 step forward, 2 steps back effort, is that you understand what they're about. Oh, it's Daniel Plainview he's greedy, right? Or, you know, I have a competition in me. You get that, right? But then it not until the last like 20 minutes into these movies do you like fully understand. And Punch Drunk Love's a big example of this, where you're like, oh, this is exactly what he's talking about. Yeah. Do you know what I mean by that? Yeah. And that's kind of really broad in general, but like in the last 20 minutes, they kind of land the plane thematically in a way that like pinpoints you to think like, this is, even though you have to go back and watch it again to like really grasp onto it, you're like, this is his perspective on greed. Yeah. Or this is his perspective on falling in love, or this is his perspective on marriage. You know, I mentioned the kiss me before I become ill. You're like, oh, I got it right there. Yeah. So in Barbarian Days, the final 30 pages gets to his kind of feeling on like a higher power, and his feeling on, I don't want God with a capital G, but like religion in a way. Yeah. And you understood that he was like religiously surfing, but it kind of like was almost like him understanding this kind of like, if there is any sort of higher power, this is where I'm finding it out here, you know? And I will never understand it, and I will never be able to like grasp onto it, but like this is my religion, and this is kind of how I practice religion. And it like explained religion to me in this way. I was like, that was really profound. And like this kind of like, you know, this idea of like God in a way. I was like, whoa, like that guy just really like wrote his life in a pretty naked and like truthful way. I was like, whoa, that's pretty crazy. Yeah. And it was creative, you know, it was really, really creative the way he did it. And I was like, that's very PTA, where it's like, if this guy could write about a higher power in a way that has like nothing to do with like, a church or whatever it is, if he could figure that out, because we know kind of how he feels about these things. He's written like pretty pessimistically, and There Will Be Blood in a lot of ways. But like that book to me was like, oh, this is like kind of like hard to grab onto in a way that he could kind of tackle. Yeah. And need we not remember that he's shot like a lot of really cool water.
Yeah.
There Will Be Blood. Remember they're in the water?
Yeah.
In their onesies?
Yeah.
Is that Scoot?
I think that's Scoot, yeah.
Or The Master, they got the waves.
Yeah.
Or Boogie Nights, they're in the pool.
Sure, great pool.
Does this make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically it's him tracking this guy on these surf excursions.
That's cool.
And it's a little unplotted.
Sure.
But you track, like I said, with the parents and his marriage and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
so this spans.
I think this is a spanning. I think this is like a 30-year movie. Okay. And this is the second thing I'm going to get into. This is why I think it plays perfectly into it. I think that Tom Cruise will star in this movie. Whoa. And I think that like we'll probably have, you know, like maybe an Elordi play the younger one or something. Sure. But he's way too tall.
He's fucking massive.
Probably have Gazondo play him as a young kid. But I think that like Cruise is making the the Inarritu movie.
Yeah.
I just don't believe he's never going to not try to get an Oscar again. He's got to.
I
think of who's going to give Tom Cruise his Oscar. It's got to be PTA.
I think he's going to give it a. It sounds like this Inarritu movie is going to try to.
Well, it's not going to happen. This one's going to happen.
Yeah, this one will happen. Yeah, obviously.
Cruise. He's still like, I mean, PTA. I mean, there's literally he's a Cruise reference in one battle after another. It's the name of the track on the score. If you look it up,
is it
called
really?
Fucking Tom Cruise. He loves Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
he used him in Magnolia, and people say it's one of Cruise's best performances.
It's up there.
I don't know. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
he wrote Cruise as himself in a lot of ways in that movie. You know, and I just think he's got to go back with Cruise and do something. And this feels very Tom Cruise coded. I mean, Tom Cruise goes up in planes 80 times in a day to train. And Tom Cruise is the most Sisyphusian actor we have in a lot of ways, you know? And I feel like I could see a scene where him and his wife's pissed off at him because like he like needs to get out on this like 25-foot wave in Portugal, even though he's got like an infant daughter. And he's like, no,
I got to ride this.
I got to ride. I mean, that's very Cruise, you know?
Totally.
So yeah, I think Barbarian Day. Good title too.
It's a great title.
Yeah. So I got Barbarian Days, Cruise.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah. Written by William Finnegan.
And where is this in the world? Is this Southern California?
It starts in Hawaii.
Okay.
That's where he is. He's like one of the only white kids in like a Pacific Islander Asian, because like the white kids are like bullied in where they were around. Howleys, I think they're called. But and then I don't know, maybe it's like a slur I just said on.
Come on, man. You gotta blur
bleep it out. And then he moves to Ventura, and then he basically leaves. He drops out of Santa Cruz and just like leaves the United States for like 3.5 years. Okay. And he goes throughout Southeast Asia into like South Africa. And by the time he gets to South Africa, he's there during apartheid or the end of it and becomes a journalist. And that's kind of how he gets to the New Yorker and San Francisco to New York. And you just meet every place he's in, you get these really descriptive versions of people he's interacted with and had like close relationships. That is perfect for PTA to be like, Sean Penn, you're in 20 minutes of this movie.
Yeah,
now, you
totally.
know? Or, hey, you know, Goldwyn, you know, come on, we got you for 10. But there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room for like PTA All Stars to do 15 to do 15 or 20. Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Was that entertaining to listen to though? I felt like I
talked. So. No, I think that's cool. I mean, I think that story is very interesting. And I mean, you know, Greenwood would tackle that one.
I think it's a Greenwood.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brian.
I just don't think they work together anymore. I think it's clearly he chose Greenwood.
Who shoots his movies that Elswit has passed on? Because I know he shoots some of them, Licorice Pizza.
Elswit's still alive.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he's still alive. They just haven't worked together since.
Man, I just killed Robert Elswit.
Inherent Vice was their last one. I think it's honestly because I think, and I know One Battle After Another, there is a credited cinematographer, but I think Paul Thomas Anderson just.
You think he has a ghost credit on cinematographer?
Well, I know he then shot Phantom Thread, and I think he shot Licorice Pizza. PTA.
Well, he shot Phantom Thread. He shot Licorice Pizza.
I think
but Michael Bauman shot One Battle After Another.
I think he probably. I think PTA was probably heavily involved, though. I think.
Damn, you're taking Bauman out of the mix.
Oh no. I think. No, look. I think Warner Brothers was probably like, you gotta have it.
Oh, Bauman is actually the director of photography on Licorice Pizza too.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I think. I would imagine though that.
You think PTA's?
I imagine he's really involved with that.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Well, he's like on grip too.
Yeah.
Or camera op or whatever. He's grip too.
He's the gaffer.
So
yeah.
I have a second question.
Okay.
Off of these, in our little bit of time left, the like David Fincher directing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood 2.
Yeah.
Do you think there's like a world in which PTA is like, I'm going to direct? I just thought about this really weirdly, but like would direct a sequel of one of his buds movies. Do you think he could ever do that? Because now that that's happened, I think about this in reverse with like everyone now.
Yeah.
I
don't think he would.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is if he
would never, but like who would, if he had to do one or someone had to do one of his. I think about this all. We could do like an entire episode on these.
Yeah,
these mix and matches.
I think, honestly, I think with him and Spielberg doing that recent review, that's the only one I could imagine. Like him doing like tackling like a Spielberg sequel.
That'd be crazy. It's Jaws 2, but it's just Dirk Diggler's wiener at the end.
It's really just it's Jaws 5, but he just calls it. He's like, I can't be Jaws 2. They already did it. And I could imagine him tackling a Spielberg.
Yeah.
But I mean,
imagine like Cruise is like, come on, dude, just like do Mission Impossible 9.
Didn't he say he was going to do
Cooper Hoffman is the son of.
I mean, that'd be awesome.
Whatever Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Didn't he say he wanted to do it? He had wanted to do one many years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That came out like in this press.
Really?
PTA was like, yeah, I wanted to do a Mission Impossible.
At what point did he want to do this?
It was probably in the 2000s.
That's insane.
It was probably around 3.
I'm reading about it right now.
I know Fincher was going to do 3, but then.
It's like, wait, I think he's, oh man, that's crazy.
Again, he'd love to get back with Cruise.
He's going to get back with Cruise's mind. Well, yeah, I think we did it. I think, we could get into a specific movie for an hour, or we could do what we just did and
have a blast.
I think it was beautiful. I had a great time talking with him.
When do you think he will make another movie? When do you think we'll get another PTA movie in the real world?
I think it will be, well, the Olympics are coming to town, so that's the whole thing.
It won't be then, yeah.
I think he's on like kind of a 3-year. He's on a 4-year.
Yeah.
It seemed like with this movie, I mean, I know it took a while to get off the ground, but once it was greenlit, it felt like it was shot in like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is not true, but that's kind of how it just felt. Probably won't do another one of this size, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But that you never know. And I think
you never know who wins Best Picture.
I think that he's a big, like, I do the ambitious one and then I revert into something a lot smaller after the fact.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of how I just imagine it. But the other way, music biopic.
Yeah.
I feel like he's got like an Oliver Stone, The Doors type music biopic in him where you're like, what the fuck is going on here?
Hello.
Yeah. Anyway, he's going to do the Fiona Apple music biopic. Any last words before we leave?
Go see One Battle After Another.
Yeah, go check it out.
I know.
Please do.
The comments will say that I hated the film, but
haters.
I'll say that I really liked it and had some notes.
And I loved it.
It's really worth seeing. It really is. I mean, I haven't seen anything like it this year.
Yeah, and speaking of Fiona Apple, go on YouTube and just watch all of Paul Thomas Anderson's music videos too.
Yeah,
they're really cool. He's done a bunch of Haim ones.
They're good.
A couple Radiohead ones, I think.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the Fiona Apple ones.
He's a talented guy.
Yeah. And greenlight our movies.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
And wish Will congratulations.
Thank you.
As you're going to be now taking another little hiatus from this podcast.
I am. I'm going to be gone for 2 more weeks after I was just gone.
But I'm going to be here with some special guests.
We're going to keep the feed running.
Yeah. I'm going to finally do my 2-hour Ocean's 13 solo pod.
Finally.
And that's it. All right. We'll see you in Nashville.
We'll see you in Nashville. You're all invited.
Yeah. Bye.